Hey, so imagine the world where your prospects always are ready to buy from you or to join your team. They always are saying yes, and you get no objections, and you add people to your team every single day. Well, that'd be great, wouldn't it? However, however, that world doesn't exist. Even the best marketers in the world only have, conversions like 10% or something. That is considered very, very good. So getting everyone to say yes to you, it's just not gonna happen. But today I want to talk about those people who have this, I don't have the money, I'm unemployed, I can't join your team, I can't invest in this business, I can't get started and whatever. And this kind of objection we hear very often. And I know that there's a lot of frustration among network marketers. They don't know what to say, how to respond to this objection or excuse. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. And I'm sitting here on the balcony of my parents' place in Lithuania. I'm on a so-called break, but I'm still doing some maintenance work here, and it's very, very bright actually. I'm roasting. It's so hot, but comparing to Ireland, where I am, when there's almost no summer, I'm actually enjoying it for a while, and then we'll see. But anyway, by the way, my name is Edita. If we haven't met, and if you're watching live or replay, please let me know. Let me know where you're from. And I'm a former network marketer, a struggling network marketer, and I was struggling because I hated prospecting. I didn't know what to do with objections. I hated approaching people, asking them to look at my stuff, especially people who didn't know me. I sort of felt that there's something wrong with it. Yeah, why would somebody who doesn't know me look at my stuff, and so on. So I wasn't getting anywhere, but then I found a way to get my prospects, to ideal prospects, to come to me, to reach out to me, and obviously you can imagine it changed everything. And so I am sharing that kind of information with you here. And by the way, if you feel the same, if you're too shy, if you think you're too shy or too introverted to do prospecting, if it makes you feel awkward and inauthentic, grab the Shy Network SQR at visnow.com/get-cure. And so it might sound sometimes that there's something, there's some sort of secret code how to address objections, secret words, various phrases. And yes, you can actually get some words, but it's more important to understand the logic or the psychology behind objections. And I don't have the money, I'm unemployed is a funny one. Because here's the thing, and by the way, you and I are the same, and you and I always use this so-called objection all the time as well, because we don't buy anything and everything in the world, do we? We don't. Out of all the things that exist, that there are in the world, we only buy, what do we buy? We buy what we need, and in most cases, we buy what we want, what we subconsciously choose to buy. Okay, and your prospects are exactly the same. So when they say that they don't have the money, they are unemployed, they can't have a business, they can't start a business, it's usually because they just don't want it. Okay, and so the first thing is for you to clarify, to make it very clear for yourself and for them, to confirm with them if they're just saying that they don't have the money or they don't really want this. Because here's the thing, just imagine in the current society where basically people are are in the habit of buying things they can't afford. And I know there's a lot of conditioning going on in our society with all the finance plans, with mortgages. You can't really buy a good car without some sort of financing plan, and or even TV. Just imagine, out of all the things in the world, people choose to buy a TV set that they can't afford, really. But they want it. They want it. So they manage to find a solution how they can actually afford to buy a TV. Except that a TV set, what does it do for them? Nothing, apart from wasting their time. Probably okay, everybody needs to relax, but people overdo it. But it's not bringing any money to them, whereas the business actually could be bringing them money. So, but the point here is that people spend money on all sorts of things they can't afford. My opinion is, if you need a loan to buy something, you can't afford it. But most people live that way, okay? So that means that if they tell you they don't have the money or they are unemployed, it's because they don't really want it. And if they don't really want it, it's usually useless to try to convince them. Of course, you can't confirm with them, like I said earlier, is it that you really, don't really want it and it's your polite way to tell me that? Or is money really a problem for you? Because if you want this and money is a problem for you, we can work it out together. I can work with you to see how we can get, you started, how we can get the money, whatever. And it's so cheap to start network marketing opportunity, isn't it? It's so cheap. When people say they don't have 50 quid to start something, it's really, obviously sometimes it's the lack of trust. So apart from handling this objection, you also need to do the homework. You also need to learn how to create trust in them, how to show them how you're gonna help them to get that money back and make more. How it's always better to give them the steps. So if you have the steps, talk to them about it. Show that to them. If they want this, if they also need to trust you that this is gonna work for them. So if they tell you that they still want this, they just not sure about the investment and so on, show them how you are gonna help them to achieve this. It's very normal. And the other thing is that you can also tell them that the fact they don't have the money or they are unemployed, is the very reason for them to do it. Because that's how they're gonna change their terrible situation they are in. That's how we're gonna make money to pay the bills and provide for the family and put better food on the table and so on. So really, I don't have the money is never a real reason, and you need to know that. You need to understand the psychology, because think about it. And I heard this example from one of my mentors a couple of years ago, and he was giving an example about a Ferrari. And let's say a prospect tells you, I don't have the money. And what do you think your prospect would do if you told your prospect that you had a Ferrari in your garage and he or she could have it tomorrow if they gave you $5,000? Do you think they would be able to source the money? If they definitely knew that they can have the Ferrari that's worth, actually I don't know what it's worth, I don't know, what is it? 200k? What was the price of Ferrari? I have no clue, to be honest. But much more, many times more than 5,000 bucks, right? So would they it would be stupid not to source that money if they could have the Ferrari for 5,000, right? Of course they would do something about it. Of course. It's the same. It's exactly the same here. If they really wanted an opportunity, a home-based business, if they really wanted a way to make extra income, and if they trusted that it can happen for them, then of course they would source the money. And from this point of view, I mean, knowing this, you can work with them to help them to get started. Maybe borrow, maybe let them borrow the money, or whatever the case. But money is always available if there is desire. Always. So, and it's funny because it's pretty much the same with all the objections. The psychology behind almost all the objections is the same. It's usually just an excuse or a polite way to say no. And so you address pretty much all of the objections the same way. Maybe different examples, maybe give them a different story, but it's usually very, very similar. So anyway, I hope this video was useful, and please remember this: if you hear an objection, even if it's slightly different, remember that it's usually not even a real reason. If somebody wants something, they manage, and you and I are the same. I was the same. I managed. I had so many scary moments, but I managed. So anyway, so remember this, and instead of trying to find the right words, try to understand the psychology and the human nature, and understand that you are the same. You give objections all day long, every day, in many different situations. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope the weather is as nice as it is here in Lithuania, and the sky is as blue as it is here. Really enjoying this time, even though I'm roasting like crazy right now. But anyway, have a great day. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.